Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're brand new here, my name is Shelly. I am an elementary teacher in Northern California. And ever since I announced that I'm going to be teaching a combination class, which means half second grade, half third grade, I have been getting a ton of questions. How does that work? Why does that happen? What is your schedule going to look like? How are you going to teach 2 grades? And what's the rationale behind even having a combination class at your school? I'm going to spend this entire video answering all of these questions. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to break down all you need to know about a combination class and how it runs in my district. And then I am going to share with you my master schedule and what I think my days are going to look like as we roll into this next school year. So the first question I get asked all the time is, what is the point of a combination class? I can only speak for what I know about my school district. For those of you that don't know, I teach at a public school, which means any kids that live in the zone of that public school are guaranteed a seat. So what happens is when enrollment numbers are finalized, sometimes there's a situation where, like this year, we have 10 second graders over the limit and 16 third graders over the limit. Neither one of those numbers are enough to create a full class. So that is when they will take 2 grade levels and combine them together into one class. One teacher will teach both grades. That's me. So then the next big question I get is, are you required to teach all the curriculum to both grade levels? I'm really fortunate to be in a school district that gives a lot of autonomy to teachers, which means they give us curriculum to use, but we don't have to use it as long as we are teaching to the standards. So that makes it a lot easier for someone who is tasked to teach 2 grade levels. I just have to teach to 2 sets of standards. And the beautiful thing about second and third grade, several standards overlap. So there are certain areas, as you'll see here in a little bit, that I can combine to make it that much easier. Also, when you think about a single grade level class, right? Like I used to teach third grade. Within that class, I have kids varying from abilities from kindergarten to 5th grade. We differentiate naturally. So teaching 2 grade levels, if you think about it, is pretty similar to a regular school year. Another thing that is important to know about the combination classes, at least at my site, is that the classes are curated by the teachers who have had these kids before. The previous year's teachers hand select kids to put into a combination class. That means these kids are at or above grade level, and they have no major behaviors that are going to be distracting for the entire class, as well as they have a really good ability to work independently. So it makes teaching 2 grade levels just that much easier. Also, I mentioned in a past video that the teachers that teach the combination classes get some benefits. At my school, they are no yard duty for the entire year. I got to hand select exactly what specialist time slot I want for all 5 days of the week. And I get a full-time aide and 2 hours of copy help every week. So there's definitely perks to it. And I've taught both grades, so that helps. I hope that clears up as to why combination classes even exist. Another question I kept getting was, can parents opt out of a combo class? But to be honest with you, as a parent, I don't know why you would want to. If your kid is selected to be in that class, it is because they are academically on or advanced, and they're an independent learner. They're not going to fall behind, if that makes sense. So no, they're not able to just opt out of it, because how would that work? And I'm hoping once I explain my schedule, it will make a little bit more sense. Because again, as a parent, I would want to know that my kid's getting the best instruction and learning all the things that they have to learn in the grade level that they're currently in. And I think that I have found a way to schedule my day to make that happen. So again, I hope this answers your question as to the rationale behind having a combination class to begin with. So many of you have never even heard of this before. So if you haven't, hopefully that clears it up a little bit. Okay, now I want to spend the next chunk of this video showing you the master schedule that I have created. Now, obviously, things change. One thing I cannot suggest enough, especially if you are a new teacher, is definitely go in with a plan, but give yourself some grace and know that things are going to change. We love a schedule, but at the end of the day, if we're not flexible, you're going to drive yourself insane. Okay, this is now the second time I am filming this, hence the appearance change. It is what it is. Okay, here we go. So here is my master schedule. There are a couple things that I need to mention before I jump in. First things first, you're gonna see up top, Mondays and Wednesdays are gonna look pretty much the same. Tuesdays and Thursdays are going to look different because of math. And also my school, my district, on Thursdays is short days. So we get out at 2:15 every day instead of 3:25. So that's going to obviously alter the schedule. Okay, the next thing is, if you look over here, I kind of have like a master schedule, if you will, blocked out for all of my blocks. So for example, we start school at 8:55. So for 10 minutes, we'll do morning work. Then we will do morning meeting for 20 minutes. My math block is from 9:25 to 10:25. That is 1 hour. Then we have a 15-minute recess. My language arts block will be from 10:40 to 12:20. We have a 45-minute lunch period. I know we are so fortunate. 12:20 to 1:05. And then my prep, so PE, art, music, whatever, will be every single day from 1:05 to 1:45. I have never in my career had the same prep. It's gonna be great. And it's right after lunch, which is awesome. And then right when we come back, we're gonna do a 10-minute read aloud and then our 40-ish minute writing block, then recess, then science, and then our end of the day routines. Okay, now obviously because I'm teaching 2 grade levels, it's going to look a little bit different. So what I did over here is I kind of wrote out in detail how each block is going to go because I am teaching 2 grade levels. Now, for me, 3rd grade will be green and 2nd grade will be blue. I'm not gonna keep bouncing back and forth. Just know that what I'm showing you for 3rd grade, 2nd grade will be the opposite. That'll make sense here shortly. So here we go. So Mondays and Wednesdays, like I had said, our morning block is gonna be all together. So morning work and morning meeting will be whole class. I don't know exactly what I wanna do for morning work just yet, but that's okay, it doesn't matter. All right, so my math block is only gonna be 1 hour. 30 minutes for 2nd grade, 30 minutes for 3rd grade on Mondays and Wednesdays. I have a whole video about how I run my math block. I will link it up here or down below. So essentially on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, I will teach a lesson. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, I will run math centers. So on Mondays and Wednesdays, I will have my 3rd graders working independently. So from 9:25 to 9:55, they will do some sort of independent work. I bulleted out some things that I was thinking I might have them do. Nothing is obviously set in stone. Things will always change. Then we will rotate. I will have my 3rd graders down with me for 30 minutes while my 2nd graders are working independently. I actually did this model when I taught just 1 grade level. I had my higher kids and my lower kids, and it was honestly so nice, just for differentiation purposes. Now, obviously there's 2 separate sets of standards, so that's what's gonna work for me. And I know it already works, so that's great. Moving on. Then we have our recess block. Now, language arts for me was the hardest to wrap my head around for a couple of reasons. One, I have 2 sets of phonics curriculum. My school is getting really big on the science of reading, so we are explicitly and directly teaching phonics. And 2nd and 3rd grade have just a different scope and sequence. So I have to follow the grade level curriculum in that sense. Unfortunately, my 2nd graders are more advanced, so I'm hoping that as we progress through the year, I might be able to combine that, but for now I'm keeping it separated. That being said, from 10:40 to 11 o'clock, I will have my 2nd graders on the carpet doing the phonics lesson. While that is happening, my 3rd graders will be working independently on some sort of word work, grammar, their phonics workbook, something in Google Classroom. Again, I'm just brain dumping here. I'm also going to have a full-time aide. So hopefully, once they're trained, I can have them doing something with my aide. Great. Then from 11 to 11:20, we're gonna flip. My 2nd graders will go work independently and my 3rd graders will come down for the phonics lesson. Now, our ELA curriculum, our reading curriculum, is benchmark. And again, the lessons are very different, the texts are very different. So to start out, I'm going to keep this part separated. So for my 3rd graders, they're going to then go back to independent work. And what I'm thinking I'm gonna have them do here is they're going to be pre-reading the text that comes with the benchmark lesson, or they're gonna be annotating the text, and I even wrote here, circling unknown words, asking 3 questions, underlining, etc., like that. They might be working on comprehension questions, any other thing that I need them to do independently, this is gonna be the time for them to do that. Then they're gonna come down to me, and we're gonna do the whole group reading lesson. 2nd graders will do the opposite. They will start with me, and then they will flip. I also scheduled in some flex time. So from 12 to 12:20, I'm giving myself a window here. I highly recommend you do this if you can. I did it when I taught 1 grade level. It's really great because this is a fabulous time for those things that you feel like you can never get to, like grammar or daily language, or if I need to stretch my reading lessons longer, like 30 and 30, I have that wiggle room. any sort of like a picture book read aloud. I'm giving myself this block for that. Also, if my kids need brain breaks, I have this 20 minutes of wiggle room that's not gonna mess up my whole schedule. So I highly recommend scheduling in some sort of flex time. Okay, then they go to lunch together, they go to their prep together, and we come back in, we're gonna do a read aloud all together. As you can see, writing is also all together. So my afternoon, this whole chunk will be whole group, which is great. My writing instruction is going to be fully together. The only difference is the expectations are going to change a little bit, but the instruction itself is going to be the same, which I am thrilled about. And then after recess, this is where I'm still kind of trying to figure out exactly how I want to work this. Science and social studies are obviously very, very different in terms of standards for second and third grade. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to teach, let's say, third grade, their science on like Mondays and Wednesdays, and then I'll teach second grade science on Tuesdays and Fridays. We'll talk about Thursdays in just a second. And then while I'm teaching that grade level science, I'm hoping that I can have them on the online component for social studies or doing some kind of a project. Unfortunately, social studies is going to be the one thing that I don't think I'm going to be able to explicitly teach a ton of. I'm going to heavily rely on their independent working skills, the online curriculum, and then our ELA curriculum has a lot of the social studies standards intertwined in the texts. I can't do it all. I'm not a wizard. That's going to be a little bit of give and take this year, and it's okay. And then my end of the day is reserved for those routines. So jobs, we do binders, planners, and all that stuff. Okay. That being said, Mondays and Wednesdays look the same. Now, I'm going to flip you to Tuesdays, and you will see a lot of it is the same as Mondays and Wednesdays. The only difference is this chunk right here. Tuesdays and Thursdays will be math centers. Again, I have a whole video on how I run math centers. Everything else pretty much looks the same. Cool, moving on. Thursdays are a little bit tricky. So here is kind of what I have decided to do. The morning looks the same all the way up until my language arts block. So what I have done is because on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they're getting explicit phonics instruction, I am thinking that on Thursday, I'm going to come together, whole group for 20 minutes and do some sort of an orthographic mapping or some sort of a word hunt, something that I can easily manage with 2 grade levels and just give them 2 different sets of words or spelling patterns or something like that. This is a living document. Obviously, nothing is set in stone, but for now, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Then I'm going to keep the benchmark instruction the same. So you'll see 20 minutes of independent work and then 20 minutes down with me. And then that frees me up to do my 40-minute writing block before lunch. The way that I have planned my writing curriculum this year is I need 4 days in a week. So I'm not going to be doing writing on Fridays. I had to fit it in on Thursdays. So that is kind of my workaround. I also don't have that flex time on Thursdays. Oh well. So we have lunch and then prep. And then I'm doing a 10-minute read aloud. So you'll see after prep until the end of the day, I have 30 minutes. Not a lot of time to do my end of the day procedures and teach anything like super heavy. So we'll do a read aloud. And then my school's social emotional curriculum is called Second Step. It's enough time to just do a little bit of 15, 20-minute lesson there, and then we're done. So Thursdays go really fast, but I think this will work. Moving on to Fridays. Okay. I have some formatting issues here, and that's fine. Now, Fridays are going to look a lot different for a variety of reasons. On Fridays, I really like to do flexible centers, which I'll chat about in a second. This is when I'll do my assessments for the week, so spelling, I might have reading assessments, things like that. So, morning work, morning meetings, all the same. Friday, math is the same. I teach a 3rd math lesson for the week. Recess. Now, this hour 40-minute block is going to look very different. So, as you can see, so from 10:40 to 11 is when I will be giving the spelling tests. In my district, we do, I shouldn't even say district. In my site, we do dictation sentences instead of spelling words. I could just give 2 sets of sentences at the same time. I'm confident. 20 minutes is plenty of time. Then I like to do my centers for an hour on Fridays. I like to call this 20-20-20 because I stole it from my team teacher. So for example, it'll be like 20 minutes of book shopping and reading. This allows my kids who constantly want to be looking for a new book. No, you gotta wait till Friday. We'll bookshop on Friday. I always plan that into my 20-20-20. My second 20 minutes is usually a must-do, may-do. So if they have work they need to finish up for the week, this is when they do it. If they have everything done, they get to do something of their choice. And then this last center is usually something with me. It's either a reteach, a pre-teach, an art project, or something along those lines. So that is what my centers look like on Fridays. And then that left me with a 20-minute block, and I really struggled trying to find time for a class meeting last year. This is when it's gonna happen, right before lunch. So we're gonna do a 20-minute class meeting, then we're gonna go to lunch, then I have prep, read aloud, whichever grade I taught science to on Tuesday, I'll be teaching on Friday during this chunk, recess, and then I always save 30 minutes for the end of the day on Friday for my star student poster, their presentation, their sharing, and then any class rewards that they have earned, we do on Friday at the end of the day, then our end of the day routines. So as you can see, this looks different than the other days, but I think this is going to work. Like I mentioned earlier, this is a living document. I might look at this and have to rework everything, but I've been teaching long enough and I know my style and I know what works for me. So I'm thinking this is going to be the best way for me to teach 2 grade levels. I'm feeling more confident now that I have it all mapped out. But if you have ever taught a combo and you're looking at this and you're going, ooh, this isn't gonna work, or maybe you should try this, please let me know down below. I am open to all suggestions. So I really hope this helps. Seeing it mapped out like this, feel free to screenshot, ask any questions you have down below. So that's the schedule. Okay, let's get back to when I don't look like this. Okay, I feel like that was a lot of information, but I really hope it was helpful for you. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I will do my best to answer as many as I can. Wish me luck. It's definitely going to be a doozy of a year, but I'm really excited for the challenge. Taught a combination before, let me know down below what grade level split you had, and just like your general experience. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you survive? Ugh. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have not already, please make sure to subscribe. Hit the little notification bell so you don't miss my classroom setup videos that are coming. Eek! I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.